Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a plastic model of your house using Onshape and a 3D printer. Now, I'm assuming you've already got an account with Onshape and you've already made one or two things with it. If not, I'll do a video on just sort of a brief introduction on how to go about that. So we've got to start out with a floor plan. Now, this is a really rough floor plan, and I suggested to my students you just walk and assume that every step is 3 feet. So here we've got a house where we're going 50 feet this way, 25 feet that way. Here's a side view. It's a wartime story and a half, so this is 1 story, so we're going to make that about 10 feet. And we're going to try and make the model look as close to the house as possible. So in Onshape, I'm going to grab the top. I'm going to view from the top, and I'm going to draw this floor plan here. So I'm going to make a sketch, and it's roughly a rectangle. This is 50 by 25. And to resize it, I'm using the, I guess you call it the scroll, that wheel in the middle of the mouse. If you roll it forward, you zoom in, you roll it back, you move out, and if you press it, you can move stuff around. Okay, so I'm now going to draw these bay windows here, and I don't have a measurement on them. I'm just going to eyeball it and make it reasonably symmetrical. So on the sketch, with the sketch still selected, I'm going to take a couple of lines, and I'm just going to go ahead and draw them outward, over, downward. And this will allow me to line these up. And now I'm going to put in some constraints to add to the symmetry. So I want the length of this line to be equal to the length of this line. And I'm going to want this line, this line, this line, and this one to all be equal to each other. Okay, so now that looks about right. I'm going to go ahead and confirm my sketch. Now notice, if you look at the original floor plan, I've got, so there's a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and a laundry room. I'm not drawing in all those details on the outline because our goal here is not really architectural. We just want to make a plastic model of this, print it off on our 3D printer. I'm now going to extrude this upward. So before I do that, you need to have a good idea of the height that these walls go to. And I'm going with 10 feet. So I'm going to pick that surface. Well, I'll pick all of these surface. And then I'm going to go over here and choose extrude. And I'm going to extrude that up a distance of 10. And notice my scale here is in inches, and I've done measurements in feet, so our scale is 12 to 1, 1 to 12. So there, I've got the basic outline of the house. And there's my top view. There's my front view. And what we need to do now is put on the roof. Okay, now to do this, you need to have an idea of what your roof looks like. In this case here, I've got a wartime story and a half. So the roof, it's like, I guess you'd call that like an A-frame when viewed from the side. So I'm going to make a sketch on this plane. So if you look at the location, see how the sketch is going to be on the side of the house? This is where I'm going to draw in the roof line, and then I'm going to extrude it forward. So we have a line that comes out here. I'm going to draw it from end to end, and then I'm going to extend it this way. And I'm going to do another one going this way. And I'm going to set the dimensions to it. And this is approximately 3 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and just make that 3 feet, and I'm going to make this one 3 feet as well. Okay, I now want to find the center of this line. And notice how when I get close to the center, do you see that orange square that appears around the cursor? That lets me know I'm right on the center or right on the end point. And I'm going to go upward from there. And I'm going to go up a distance of 18 feet. So I'm just going to click and then type in 18. I'm then going to draw a line from the top to here and the top to there. So this now would resemble the profile of the house. I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to extrude it this way, and I'm going to go a distance. So I'm going to change the direction of my extrusion, and I want this to go a distance of 50 feet, because remember this house is 50 feet wide. And there you have it. Now I've got a 3D model of my house. It's going to look a lot better if we put doors and windows on here, so I'll show you a little trick to make them show up. Now you can't just draw things on here, and the reason why you can't is it's going to print in 3D. So if you just draw something flat on a surface, it's never going to show up. So the windows, I'm going to push them in a little bit, and the doors, I'm going to pull them out a little bit. So the front door is here. So I'm going to make I'll confirm that extrusion. I'm going to make a sketch on here. And I'm going to make a rectangle for the front door. Now just draw it quick and then put in the dimensions. So this door is going to be 4 feet wide. Alright, well I think it's 3. Let's go with 3. I'm going to make that 3 feet wide and 7 feet tall. And so I'm going to lower that a little bit. So it's lowered and roughly centered. And I'm going to confirm that. But then I've got to extrude it, because when I print this out, we're not going to actually see the door unless I pull it out a little bit. So I'll extrude that by a half. That looks about right. And now for my bay windows, I'll confirm that, and I'm going to make a sketch here. And I'm going to put a rectangle here. And do the same thing over here. Now the reason why this is going to work, my sketch is on this surface, but this surface is going to align with this surface. And the reason why I know that it will is because I use those constraints, making all of these the same length. So that's going to work out just right. Now I'm going to pick these surfaces and then go to extrusion. And instead of coming out, I'm going to push them in. So I'll change the direction and remove material. So I press this arrow here to change direction, this arrow to remove material, and I'll make that 0.5. Okay, so on the house there's also a window here, and then up top there's a window, and it's angled to match the roof line. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that in right now. So I'm going to put a sketch on this surface, and I'm going to put a rectangle here, and then a couple of lines for the roof. And that roughly looks right, but to make it a little bit better, I'm going to use some constraints. So the lines that are parallel, this line is parallel to this one, and this line is parallel to that one. So that's going to change the shape, make it look a bit better. And then I can resize it. Bring that down a bit just to make it, bring that up. So that looks about right now. And then there's also a rectangular window down here. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude them. And remember, for windows, I'm removing material. So I'm going to go by 0.5. I'm going to remove material. And I'm done. And there's the, well, when I print it out, that's going to be a plastic model of my home.